I pinch myself every day because my hobby is my job, and it's just all down to the fact that runners are awesome, and they will show up if they say they will.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 89 of the On the Runs podcast. It is apparently going to snow, and they just canceled school, so all my Tuesday plans just changed. But I am with you, Erika, virtually. We're going old school tonight. How are you?
I am doing good. I mean, I still have to go to work tomorrow, so I'm a little jealous of your kids there. But
I will be working,
not looking forward to the
working
commute.
from home, as they call it.
I don't get to do that. I don't have a lab at home. Oh well.
I said
I'll
we're
live.
going old school. We're recording with the old recorder system because we just tried to record on Riverside and it wasn't working for you. You were all fuzzy. You were gone. You were there. You weren't. You were at 1%
See, it's
upload.
so weird when it does that, because I can see and hear you guys perfectly, and I never knew I had any issues until you're like, "Oh, Erika's gone," and I was like, "What?
You
I
were
had no
gone.
clue."
You were gone for 5 minutes. So you heard her story then. We had a guest
I heard
on.
half of it. I heard half of it.
Okay. So we just had a guest appearance that you guys will hear next month in February. She was amazing. She's from 2 different countries, and she's been all around the world, and she was amazing. It was great. But yeah, you were there and you weren't there, Erika, and
I was so pissed. Riverside. I'm going to blame Riverside, even though
Yeah.
it's probably my Wi-Fi, but I don't know. Haven't had issues in a while.
you know what? I'm not gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame Brandon, who's probably downstairs video gaming or something right now and taking up
No, he's
all
he's
the
doing
bandwidth.
he's doing the same thing he does every time we record. He's watching. He is streaming, but I've never had this issue. Well, it's been a long time since we've
Been
had
a long
this
time.
issue,
Last
so I
time,
don't friggin' know, man.
yeah, it's all right. We have options. We're going old school.
Yes.
But we are still on a high right now from our trip in
Ugh.
New York City over the weekend.
I still can't get over that, man. That's what I did earlier today. I was like, I got to get a run, and I took the run of the class that I took on Saturday.
No
so.
way, the Andy class.
I had to see how it was, and it was just as hard as it was actually being there, but seeing myself on camera, I'm just kind of like, oh.
So
I feel so much stronger than I look,
Oh,
It's
I have
always
the
like that.
same thought about the way I look and all the pictures and everything, but I feel good. You feel good. Adeline actually
Yeah.
jumped on the bike and she took the class we were in with Matt.
No
and
way.
Yeah, it was she took it. She basically just played it to see me. So now I have another
Okay,
bike
yeah.
ride. I'll have to delete that one later. But yeah, she did that, and that was really cool. So we were just in New York City. We had so much fun. There's so much to talk about. We already recorded the episode, though, and you guys will hear it in a couple days. I need some time to edit it, but it was so much fun with Pterodactyl recording that. The whole entire weekend was just a blast, and I think we have to give the shout out to Peloton, Matt Wilpers, Josh Vernon in Wicked Smart Zone, and just everyone,
yeah.
our tour guide, Hannah. Like, we had an amazing weekend, and it was because of all you guys.
Oh, we had an absolute blast, and you guys pretty much made our whole year so far. Like, how do you go up from there?
It's been a
Oh,
strong
man,
start.
we just had a
January
blast.
been a strong start to 2024. It's been
Oh, yeah.
mostly
It was a
Peloton.
whirlwind. It went by so fast.
I
Like,
know.
whew.
But we had Bex Gentry to start the year, and now my top 5 on Peloton instructors is taking its form, I guess. It was always Matt Wilpers. We know that. Number 2
Yeah.
is Bex, because Bex is Bex and she's amazing. I think our 1 and 2s might flip flop there. And then the other one, I had Olivia, and I really only had 3. I had 3. I have 2 more now in the top 5.
Do tell.
We didn't even meet them, but Hannah Corbin and Susie Chan have made their way into the top 5, and I didn't even take a class of theirs for them to do it. They found, here's what's cool. It's not like they just saw that someone was tagged and they liked one of my posts. They liked multiple of my posts. And to like multiple, in my mind, when you see one, you have to go into our profile and be like, oh, I like this or I like that, or they had Bex on.
Right?
I want to listen to this reel. They all liked at least 4. So the first one was yesterday. You saw that Hannah liked our post.
Oh yeah, I was pumped. And Hannah's always been up there for Peloton instructors for me because if you haven't taken a bar class with her, be prepared for your muscles to burn. It is an absolute incredible workout that she does, and she's just so fun. Her personality is awesome, and I can see why she gets along so well with like Bex and and all the crew. And Susie Chan has been up there for running instructors for me ever since she debuted. I think she's just amazing. And even off Peloton, she's a crazy ultra runner. And I'm like, you are my people, Susie. So happy to have you on the runs account.
Well,
I hope you're liking what you're
know
seeing.
somebody who knows Susie. We'll get to that in a minute, but I
Mhm.
want to go back to Hannah. Here's
Yes.
my theory how Hannah found us. When we were in the Peloton Studios, we brought gifts for Bex and Denise. Denise was the communications manager. So we brought these,
Mm.
the poly mailers I had. We put stickers, magnets, T-shirts in there for them. We put we wrote
They're
a note.
definitely flashy.
Right. We wrote a note. So my theory is this. The guy goes, we are going to go put this in the green room or in the dressing room, whatever, for Bex. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, Hannah must have walked by, saw the On the Runs poly mailer and was like,
What is this?
what is
This
this?
interesting little poop emoji with feet.
So then I'm thinking she looked us up. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably not true, but that's what I'm going to say happened.
Either way, it's really cool. So we appreciate the extra, I guess, traffic on our Instagram page because that's just really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
The other one was Susie Chan, and Susie
Mhm.
Chan interacted with our Instagram today because our guest on the podcast today is a very good friend of hers, and his name is Mike Seaman. And Mike Seaman is the CEO of Raccoon Media. Do you know what Raccoon Media is? Probably not, but you know what you do.
But you will.
You will. And you know what you probably do know? You know about the Boston Run Show, and that is put on by Raccoon Media.
How cool is that? We were so privileged to get a chance to talk to Mike. The one thing that I have to tell you that got me about him is him running the London Marathon in a tutu. And I was like, you are good people, Mike. I want to hear more from you. I think we're going to vibe. This is going to be a great guest appearance.
This was really cool because the Run Show reached out to us to have Mike on, and we said we'd love to, but
Absolutely.
one rule, we want it to be just like every other guest appearance. We want to hear his story. We'll talk all about the Run Show, but we want to hear about his journey too and his running stories, because when we looked him up too, he had some great posts in there. He runs every day. I was like, we just want to have a normal episode for you guys and not have it sound like just a come to the Run Show, but you're going to learn how passionate he is about this Run Show. And when he told this story, I had all the feels, because it's just like me editing this podcast, putting out the first couple and being like, are people going to like it? Are people going to come? Are people going to listen? Are they going to stay? He's so passionate about this Run Show, and I can't wait to go
It shows.
in about 10 days from now at the in Boston at the Heinz Convention Center.
Oh yeah, you can just feel the love radiating off of Mike. He is very passionate about what he does, and I mean, what is it? If you build it, they will come.
That's right.
Field of Dreams.
That's right.
Yep.
Or Wayne's World.
And
book it, they will come.
exactly. But this one's bound to be the best Boston Run Show yet. So let's go, people. We gotta check out Mike's interview first, and then we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the actual Run Show.
That's right. So you guys are going to love this. One thing you'll notice, my voice, again, still raspy as I talk and talk and talk. This was in the prime of my sickness. So I had the most amazing podcast voice of all time when we had Mike on. But it was still a lot of fun, and I powered through. And then, do you remember? Okay, so you're having Riverside issues now. I had a Riverside issue then. So it was
That's right.
yeah.
Mike took over. He's the new co-host, so you've been replaced.
Not only is Mike the our guest today, he is also the new co-host of the On the Runs podcast. So guys, enjoy Mike Seaman on the On the Runs podcast, and we'll see you on the other side. Our next guest on the pod is coming to us from across the pond. He is the CEO of Raccoon Media, the company that puts on the Boston Run Show. He also runs in ultra marathons, doing some crazy things just like Erika, including 100 milers. We are super excited to have Mike Seaman on the On the Runs podcast. Mike, what's up, buddy?
Hey, mate, how you doing? You good?
I'm good. I'm getting my voice back. It's a little raspy. I lost it over the holidays, as to be expected with kids in chaos. But I'm great, man. Thanks for coming on.
We've been there. I'm fighting off a Christmas cold, as I call it, which may be referred to as a hangover in the US, I think.
So you had a nice holiday then. That's good to hear.
My raspy voice might be slightly contributed to beer consumption as well. So
Drinking while sick, you
You
guys.
are trying,
Yeah,
right? That's
shame,
what you gotta
shame.
do.
that's right. Hey, I saw on Christmas, you and your brother, were you guys racing lawnmowers or something in the backyard?
Look, right? That may have happened. So, yeah, I visited my brother on Christmas Day. We had a few beers. He had a lawnmower. And, what are you going to do? It was there.
All I could say, Mike, is you fit right in with us. Like this is the kind of stuff we're here for.
If there's a ride on lawnmower and there's booze in the house, things have got to be done,
As
right?
long as nobody gets hurt, I'm all for that kind of fun.
Next thing you know, they'll be riding the lawnmower down the street to get more booze to bring back to do more lawnmower races.
You know what?
It'd be fun.
This is a random story that I feel like I have to share right here. When I was a senior in high school, you know how they do the superlatives like best dressed, best car, or whatever. There was a kid that I went to high school with, lived across the street from the school. He drove his lawnmower, like riding lawnmower, to school on the first day of school and won best car. Who does that? Like,
No way.
that's a baller move right there.
That's pretty cool.
I like this guy. I want to be friends with that
Right.
guy.
I'll put you in touch.
How was your holidays? We just got through the holidays. How was it with the family and the kids? You have a couple kids, right? Tell us about family life back at home.
Yeah, it's great. It's my kids are 10 and 7, so it's that magical time, isn't it, where they love every minute of it, and they're just full of excitement. And I haven't slept a wink. They were told they couldn't wake us up till 6 a.m. So at 5:59, they were stood at the end of the bed, like
They're ready. They're ready to go. They're like watching the clock. Go.
This is teaching them to be
Yeah.
punctual as an adult. So I think they're getting some good training.
Yeah, they were pretty damn punctual.
I don't think Erika would know about this because she doesn't have little kids, but in the US, a big thing here is Elf on the Shelf. Do you have anything like Elf on the Shelf out there in the UK?
Yeah, so we got caught into this thing, right? And it's for those people who don't know it, you get these. We have two, and these elves, when the kids go to bed, they do something overnight, and they wake up, and the kids get very excited.
Isn't it
we were
mayhem?
determined not to.
They just cause trouble.
Do you know when you get into something, you're like, oh Christ, I've got to do this for like the whole of Christmas,
All month.
and you'd start. But one night we did it the other day. We'd had a couple of beers, and Emily, my eldest, she put the elves on the Christmas tree because apparently that makes them hyper naughty. So we thought it'd be really funny to like move the car so it looked like the elves had like joyriding the car across the lawn. So we put like loads of leaves and trees and branches on it and a bottle of wine in the passengers. I'm not sure this is a great role model story for kids. But yeah, we properly staged the whole thing, and they just thought it was absolute. She's like, I'm putting them on the tree every day. I'm like, no, this is a one-off. Like, this is not
A+ for creativity. That's amazing. I'm here for the stories. This is great.
I'm not sure what lesson I'm teaching them, or if I'm a good parent, but it was fun.
Yeah, we Elf on the Shelf. It's a thing. It's like in the morning, you wake up. Did he move the elf? Did he move it? December 1st came around and we couldn't find the elf. So I ran to Walmart and got a new elf, and then we found it before the kids came home. So I never had to open it up, and I got to return it and get my $35 back. But yeah, the elves do some crazy things. The one I wanted to do, but didn't get to do was I wanted to freeze the elf in a cup and then take a little Elsa doll and make it look like Elsa was freezing the elf, like frozen.
That's cute.
So next year, that's on my list, but that will take some work because then I'll have to de-thaw the elf before the next day. So,
right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, Christmas was fun. Your elves went and took the car out and went for a joyride. That's wicked awesome. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Let's get to know you, Mike. You are from the UK. You are our second guest from across the pond, second in 3 weeks, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us where you are from and growing up, what life was like for Mike as a kid into where you are today?
Oh wow, okay. I live in Surrey, which is kind of like an hour south of London. So I was just saying to Erika, it's kind of like if you get on a train from London and you get to the point where people start being polite and you can see trees, that's the bit where I live. It's
Perfect.
But yeah, growing up, I grew up in a place called Derbyshire, which is kind of like the countryside in kind of it's the middle of the country, but sort of East Midlands. And yeah, I was just like pretty normal kid, just me and my three brothers and my mum. My two brothers. I just invented another one. And
Is the one no one knows about.
yeah, yeah, that secret one. He's an elf. It's but no, we're just pretty normal. Like, wasn't particularly great at sport. Like, was okay. I could kind of play most sports to a reasonable level, but I was by no means like into running and anything like that. And actually, at school where we grew up, kind of running was kind of a punishment. If the teacher was annoyed that day and couldn't be bothered to take football, which you guys call soccer, then it'd be like, yeah, guys, just go and do cross country, which is run over there and then run around there and come back. Like half the guys would stop halfway around and start smoking, and then like it was just running was not something that was encouraged, and actually that's really changed. So
It has.
my kids, when at school, they do a daily mile now.
Oh.
So running's a real part of it. It's kind of encouraged, it's enjoyed, and they've got things like Park Run over here, which I know you're starting to get over there, which is kind of a free weekend 5K. So the attitude's really shifted, but running was not a thing when I was growing. Did you guys run when you were growing up,
Not
or was
me.
it kind of?
I never got into it until after college. So, but he did.
So I did run cross country, but I only ran to get in shape for ice hockey because I was an ice hockey player. But you were right, where
Right.
running was like punishment. For say you played baseball and you weren't doing a good job playing catch, and if you didn't catch the ball, go do a lap around the field. It was like that was punishment. And football or soccer or football for you, it would be like, go do laps. If you can't do this, go do laps. You're out of shape. It would be like punishment. I think in a way it would be to get you in better cardio shape, but it felt like punishment. You're right. And we did 1 mile
But
at high school or in school only once a year. And it was like everyone dreaded it. I loved it actually, but everyone dreaded it.
So the thing was, I could run. Because I used to play football. I loved soccer. I loved football. I would play it. I would get home from school. I would go and play football on the park until my mum called us in for dinner. Then I'd go straight back out and we'd play until the sun went down. And I would do that as many nights as I was allowed. And the sun would go down, it'd be dark, and it'd be like, yeah, we're going home now. And I'm like, but it's 27 all. We need to find who's going to win. And I've still got I could still run, but I just didn't enjoy it because running wasn't a thing. And football was kind of a game. And I kind of liked the game bit of it. But yeah, it was sad really that we didn't push running more because I think I would have enjoyed it.
So one of the guests we just had on a couple weeks ago, Bex Gentry, she was talking about school in the UK and how sports really weren't a big deal. Here's the example. Americans on this side of the pond will be like, yeah, I played D1 hockey for Boston College, or I ran track at Colgate. But in the UK, she's like, you'd go, oh, I studied business law at Plymouth, versus you wouldn't really talk about the sports. So sports was big, I guess. Sports is really big here in the States, but was it just like kind of a part of the everyday life in the UK, but not really pushed? Or is that changed today?
I used to do, at the school I was in, we used to do PE, as we called it, which is physical education, twice a week, like, which now blows my mind that that's all you got. Like, and you get an hour. And there'd be some people in my school who dreaded it. And it was like their worst day. And I loved it. And it was like my most, because I loved games and I loved playing and I loved being in a team. I was never particularly brilliant at anything, but I was I was all right at most things. I was decent at racket sports. I could play enough at football to sort of get around. But yeah, it wasn't something that you would boast about unless you got to a professional level. I mean, if you were in a professional sports team, then obviously you were kind of king of the hill, but that was very rare. Whereas school sports and college sports, and I know how big college sports are in the US, it's just not a thing. It's not a thing. And actually, you know, if you played for a local football team and your parents came down and watched it and they got over enthusiastic on the sidelines, and that was kind of pretty frowned upon. And there are definitely some dads that do that. And I remember my dad came back to watch me. I didn't grow up with my dad, but he came back and watched me at a football match and was very over enthusiastic on the sideline, and it was kind of pretty cringe and quite embarrassing, and I was kind of pretty mortified by the whole thing.
We have a lot of those parents here, and you can find them all on YouTube.
Basically, yeah. Don't want to
Yeah.
embarrass your kid.
And let's set one thing straight. It is football. We're going to keep calling it football as it should
Yes.
be.
Mhm.
We're not really soccer people either, but we're not really.
Well, that was my sport growing up.
That was.
Yeah. So, but I just it never turned into the running thing for me. Like I would have to do like wind sprints and all that. And yeah, it gave me some endurance, but yeah.
I think the NFL should change their name to the National Handball League because they don't play with their feet.
I'm with you. You know,
petition. Yes.
But all right, this is a running podcast, man. I love getting to know you, and we can keep getting to know you. But I think you're a lot like us. Okay, we're average athletes. We're runner enthusiasts, and we like pizza, beer, food, all the same things. We'd get along great.
The little joys in life, right?
Yeah. So you eventually found running, and I think maybe it was because of the pizza, the beer, and the food. How did you find running later in your life?
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's kind of when I was a teenager, I could eat anything, and I did. And I just lived to excess in everything that I did. And I went to university, and I just had the best time of my life, and made really good mates who I'm still friends with now, and we partied pretty hard, and lived to excess. And I came back, and I realized that I no longer had a chin. And I was just, there was no gap between the jaw and the neck. And I was kind of, I need to sort this out. And I played a bit of squash, and I got, got okay at squash. But that wasn't doing it. And I was hitting the gym, and that wasn't doing it. And I kind of thought, I better do something about this. And so I started just running around the block, and I would never run anywhere that wasn't lit. And I'd always run on where there was a pavement or a sidewalk. And I would just run these little circles at maybe about a mile and a half. And I thought it was the furthest thing in the world. And I thought I was an incredible athlete. And I was just doing it to try and get rid of, the beer and pizza that was settled around the middle of me. And yeah, it started with that, and then we, as a group of us, did a few things. I think we did like a 10K or a 5K, and you know how it happens. It just escalates, and then all of a sudden, my mate's like, "Hey, I'm doing the Paris Marathon." I was like, "I could do that." And it's like with complete arrogance, yeah, easy. Like I'm a legend, and yeah, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was. I did not train properly for that at all. But that was my first marathon, and I went and I did it, and it was horrible but brilliant and fun and awful and hilarious and shit all at the same time. And I really had a great time, but I realized how bad I was at the end of it in terms of my feet were shredded. I hadn't even bought like running shoes. I had this pair of. Do you have a brand called High Tech?
I know what High Tech is. Yeah,
I have not heard of them. Oh,
yeah. I don't really think of them as a running shoe, though.
No, I don't think they think of them as a running shoe either. I think these things were like £12 from like a cheap shoe shop or whatever it was, and I just assumed they'd be good. I didn't have proper running socks. I just had whatever, and I got to the end of it, and my feet were in bits. And it was, one of the guys I ran with, he had a really hard time. But in Paris, towards the end, there were guys giving out pints of cider. So he sculled a pint of cider, put the glass on his head, and he finished the race. And he said it was easy from then on. It's like, so it's ultra fueling, right?
True that.
But that was it. That kind of gets you into it, and then it just sort of escalated from there, really.
So what year was this when you ran Paris Marathon?
I actually don't know.
Have you run it, Erika?
I've not done Paris, no.
Okay.
So I think I might go back again this year, actually. I'd quite like to go back and see it. But I reckon it must have been about 2012, maybe. Yeah, so a little while ago. So and it felt like... Go ahead.
So you've only been running for like, it's 2024 now. So about 12 years or a little longer than that?
Probably a little long, but that felt like the pinnacle. That felt
Yeah,
like
okay.
I'd climbed Everest.
So Paris was a
And
big
it was-
learning experience for you, though.
Yeah, but I came away and I thought I was a superhero. And I was like, I've run a marathon. I'm in the top 1% of runners. I'm a legend.
Mhm.
And then I realized I'd run it really slowly. And it was, and all anybody ever asks you when you run a marathon is, how quick did you do it? And I was just like, it kind of took a bit of the gloss off it,
Mhm.
which is ridiculous, really, because a marathon is really hard.
Oh yeah.
And I say this a
Whichever
lot
way you slice
to a
it,
lot of my-
you're still doing the 26.2.
yeah, and I say this a lot to a lot of my mates when they train up for a marathon and they go, oh, it's only a marathon. It's never only a marathon. A marathon is an insane distance and it's really hard. And you should be, anyone who does one should be utterly proud. But yeah, it tarnished it a bit once I realized that I hadn't done it properly. I hadn't done it fast enough in my head. And actually, to be honest, I think a lot of it was quite miserable.
Oh.
Although I did, when I crossed the finish line, I kind of got this rush of emotion, which I very rarely get, which was kind of like, oh man, I could cry. It's like, because you're so empty and but you feel like you've achieved this thing that was impossible, and you get there and
Well, you showed yourself, yeah.
Yeah, at some point it does feel that way. My first marathon, I was miserable the last 4 miles. I'm like going through IT band syndrome, and all of a sudden this guy, his name's Miguel, this white van, it was a van, he was working for the company putting on the race. The door opens up and this guy just walks out with his arms up and gives me this big hug, and I'm like, oh my God, I could die right now, but I'm gonna run to you. Because it was just like, oh, I got it now. And he gave me this big hug. So I wasn't crying. I was just giving out hugs.
I'm not crying. It was just sweat.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's not tears. I swear. I glisten.
Full
Salty
disclosure, I've
glisten.
cried in a few of them myself, so no shame. Emotions are running wild
know
at
what?
the end of that.
We'll get into this. I've had some proper breakdowns on runs, but the thing after the first marathon as well was my legs didn't work for like 3 days. Like, and then nothing worked. I was so tight and crunchy, and I was just like, I've climbed Everest. I've done the hardest thing that I could ever do, and then I read that bloody book by Dean Karnazes, which is. I don't know if you've read his book, but I mean, this
Is it Ultra Marathon Man?
Yeah, just ruined my life. It just made
That guy's a machine, though. Like, you can't take his word for it because he can just go and go and go and go. So he's superhuman.
Well, and we've been lucky enough to meet him through the running show, and he's an amazing guy, and was so generous to me. So when I set up the show, he actually did an interview with me to help promote the show, just for nothing, just to bore. But I read his book, and I was just and then the competitive side kicks in. You're like, well, maybe I could try a little bit more. And it was, so I set myself this task of like, every year I'm going to do something to raise money for charity, because I raised quite a lot of money doing the Paris Marathon. But then all my mates were like, well, you're doing another marathon. It's not that exciting, isn't it? So I did like 2 or 3 more marathons, and then it was kind of do them in fancy dress. So I did one as an elephant. I did one as a Lucozade bottle. The Lucozade bottle was ridiculous. It was like 8.5 feet tall, and it rained.
Is there a
The whole thing
picture of
got
this? I
really
gotta
heavy.
find this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there is. I'll send you one after.
Right, yeah.
It was awful, and this thing it got really heavy when it was wet, and then it got hot, and then it started steaming inside.
Oh,
It was like, this
no.
is just rubbish. And I think they were doing it as like a brand promotion thing, and they had like a cheer station at like mile 20, and I came past mile 20, and they were like waving and hooting, and I was just like, it was like, I'm not liking my life right now. But yeah, it seemed like a good idea.
Did you have to do any training in the costumes before?
I
or
was
did you
just going to
wing
ask.
it?
I'm like, how do you do that? Oof.
Well, so by this point I was running pretty well, and I did a few like half marathons in it, and I'd rock up to like half marathons, do like a 1:45 in a Lucozade bottle,
Wow.
That's
and
impressive.
I'd be like smashing past people. I'd be like, "Come on, don't let the bottle beat you!" And it was like, and I loved it. I had so much fun with it, but it was.
I could just picture.
And actually,
I can just picture this. Like, it's bad enough when people pushing strollers past you, just like zooming right by, but I can't even think about being passed by a giant like bottle.
Well, so I love running a marathon in fancy dress. I think it makes you go faster. I did London last year, the year before last, sorry, and I dressed it. My daughter I said you can pick. I'll wear whatever you want, and so she
That's
got some fairy
dangerous.
wings and a
Yes.
tutu and all of this. Uh, and I got proposed to twice. I didn't realize I was attractive to men, but apparently I am.
I'm all about that. I tend to wear like sparkly skirts and stuff when I run, so I 100% approve of your your dress choice.
So 100%. If you're not going, I'm not a fast runner. I like if you're just going to have fun and enjoy it,
Oh, yeah.
like do it in fancy dress because you get so much banter from the crowd, and it makes it such a better experience.
I agree.
Did you see? I just popped up in my head, Erika. New York City Marathon last month or a couple months ago. Some guy ran as a Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he
No
ran
way.
like he built his own costume. He was a coffee cup, and then like Dunkin' Donuts saw it, and they gave him like free Dunkin' Donuts for a year.
That's it? Just a year?
Wait, hang on, what? Okay, let's do this. I will run Boston next year dressed as a Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup if I get free donuts.
Do you have
Great.
Dunkin'?
We'll tag Duncan's at this. We'll get the word out.
Do you don't have Dunkin's over there in the UK? Do you? Or what do you have? Is it Starbucks?
Not much. Yeah, we have Starbucks. We do have some Dunkin' Donuts, but it's not as much. I mean, because Dunkin's is like Boston, right? That's
It's
kind of
definitely like a New England thing for sure. Yeah.
More so, yeah.
Because I used to live in
Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina, and there was like one Dunkin' Donuts within like 100-mile radius. And then I remember because I worked in NASCAR when we came back to New Hampshire, where I'm from, and there was a race here. The guys were like, "Why is there 3 Dunkin' Donuts at this one intersection?"
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, there's 6 within a stone's throw.
Yeah, it's like that makes no sense.
because you wouldn't want to cross the road to get one, right?
Right. So, oh man, yeah, Dunkin's is something here. I'm not a coffee drinker, but the donuts are great. Can't deny that. So yeah, you've done some cool stuff. You're just like us. Like we're not fast by any means. We're reasonable, I guess, and we just go out there to have fun. I like to call it a victory lap. Like you just go out there and you enjoy your race, you enjoy your time.
Mhm.
It's a victory lap. I've yet
100%.
to dress up, but I've said before here on the pod, I probably will wear a skirt one day with Erika.
I have more than enough glittery ones, so whenever you want them.
I'm down for this. I'll do the coffee cup. You wear the skirt. Duncan will give us some donuts. It's all good.
Love it.
I'll add some fairy wings. I don't know. We could make it work.
It's only if they make me fly.
Well, so I did an ultra this past August, and it was right in the height of Barbie. And I made myself ultra Barbie. I was just wearing nothing but like bright pink. And I got so many like, hi Barbie. And I was so excited. Like it totally made my race. So I am all for just having fun with it. And the more sparkle, the better. I mean, that's just me.
I've not been brave enough to do full fancy dress for an ultra. I did a 50K the last weekend, and I wore reindeer antlers the whole way around.
See, there
That
you
was
go.
as close
It's
as I've
just
got.
something fun. I love it.
I saw that you did.
Anything that gives the crowd something to shout at you, I think, actually makes it more fun.
It is. Everybody, this was Erika's 3rd time at this one ultra marathon. It's called Anchor Down, and everybody knew her this time. It was undeniable. I could be on the other side of the field, and I would know she's coming because the girl on the microphone would go, "Here comes Barbie," or she'd just go, "Hey, Barbie." And
Did you go faster as Barbie, or did you have a better race as Barbie?
I don't know if I would say I had a better race, but just my mood was better. It was definitely a big pick me up. I did not run any faster, but it was still just cool to have people cheer for you.
I'm going to say that's a win. I'm taking that as a win.
it's a win. It was a win. It was a great. Oh, it was perfect. She did all her research before too. She went and saw the movie and got all her intel, and she knew what she was doing versus just dressing up and not knowing what "Hey Barbie" was or "Hey Ken."
Totally. Go see that movie if you haven't seen it. It's all streaming now, but it was fantastic. I really liked it. But I digress.
I've still not seen it.
Oh, get on that, Mike. Come on. It's worth
You know
it.
what,
It's a good, fun 2 hours.
Mike, I'll tell you this. it's okay that you haven't seen it yet. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it goes in a direction you didn't see coming.
Right.
It's
Is
entertaining.
it safe? Is it safe for my 11-year-old daughter?
Yeah, 11 years. Yeah, no, my
think
daughter's
so,
7 and
right?
watched it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't even think there's really swearing in that at all,
No,
right?
it's just
No.
it's a lot about it turns into, like, help me out, Erica, but women building women up, because you don't want to
feminism.
be the stereotypical Barbie or the stereotypical what it was back in the day.
Good stuff.
Oh, it sounds like something I could watch with my daughter then. Okay,
Yeah,
I might give that a
the only thing you might have to explain is when they're like, I don't have a penis. What do you, huh? we don't have those parts.
Maybe you watch it first and screen it and then see if it's good enough.
Well, you've given me 2 bits of homework. I've got to build myself a Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup, and I've got to watch the Barbie movie. Okay,
Well, if
I'm
you're
writing
going to
a
run
list.
Boston in the coffee cup, you at least have a few more months to do it. So you got some time.
Yeah.
So you're running Boston this year? Is that you're letting us know?
I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but like I'm gonna have to try and get in now.
If you do, let us know, because we're very local to Boston and we go cheer every year. So we would love to see you if you're there.
Well, so we work with the BAA are a partner of ours for the Boston Run Show, and they've been super nice to us all the way through. They're an amazing group. So yeah, I'm maybe I could find a way in. I don't know. I might have to try this now.
If they have any extra bibs, send one my way.
Let's get into that. We can talk more running and your running experiences later if we have the time, but let's talk about Raccoon Media and the running show and how this started for you, and when did this start for you? Because if you've only been running for about 12 years, it's got to be somewhat recent, right?
Yeah, it's new. It's I mean, so the first show we ran in the UK was in 2018. So we I've been an events guy for 20 plus years, so it's pretty much all I've ever done. So I organized exhibitions and I worked for big companies that do that, and I sort of built a career doing that, doing really boring shows. So
what's a boring show though?
Construction, fintech,
military
like,
defense, blah, boring.
No, I didn't do any of that. But it's
that's what
but
I'm
yeah,
in.
I mean, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So the company I work for ran the largest defense show in the UK. So, and so I was doing stuff like that. I had a really good job, and I did well. Like, I started off as a junior, worked my way up, and ended up running a portfolio of events. But it wasn't my passion. I was now like getting really passionate about running, and I'd had this. Every events person has got like a pub idea. So you go into the pub, and after like 10 pints, you're like, "This is what I'd do if I had my own thing, man. I'd be amazing." And mine was the running show. The thing that I thought was weird was that there were big shows for runners, but they were marathon expos, and they happened at the wrong time to buy stuff because it was the week before the race.
You're not supposed to do new things on race day. New things, yep.
Don't try new nutrition. Don't try new trainers. Don't buy any of that a week before the race. But also, they were marathon expos. And actually, running is way more than a marathon. There was no inclusion for people who were just getting started. There's no inclusion for people who were going beyond or doing different distances at different paces. And I just thought, actually, runners are all pretty cool. And actually, they all blend together regardless of distance or time. Most runners are just decent. So wouldn't it be cool to create like a meeting point for the community? That was my big idea. I would wang on about this all the time. Like, I'd have a few beers, and I remember we were driving back. We'd been out with some friends, and we were driving back in a long car journey. And I was having my usual, "This is what I should do." And my wife just turned to me and just went, "Will you stop talking about it? Just
do it."
Exactly what she said. But yeah, she said, "Just do it." And I was kind of, actually, yeah, screw it, I will. So this building, this shed at the end of my garden was where we started, and we just I quit my safe corporate job. I took some consultancy work on the side to pay the bills, and I set up the National Running Show, which ran in January 2018 in the UK for the first time. And it was small. We had I think we had 3 trainer brands there because everyone was like, "This is never going to work." But I'd hired the NEC, which is like the big exhibition venue. And I'd hired this lady called Kelly Holmes, who you might not know, but she's a double Olympic gold medalist.
Oh my
And
gosh.
those are the first two. Those are the first two big pieces of expenditure that I made out of my own savings. And everyone got really excited, and they all sort of believed that this was going to work. And I was like, shh, this might actually happen. And I remember the day of the first show, I woke up and it was snowing outside. And as an event organizer, that's death. That basically means 20% of your numbers are not coming. And I was like, we're done for. Like I've taken this massive risk. I put my whole reputation on it, my whole career on it, you know. And actually, the worst bit was I loved running, and I'd made loads of friends through running by this point. And I was going to be embarrassed that no one was going to come. And I was in the exhibition before it opened, walking around talking to all the store holders. I just couldn't look people in the eye because I thought there was going to be no one there. And I was gutted. I could have cried, and I walked past my friend who'd helped us build the show, because a couple of my mates had helped me work on it to get it together, and they're all working for free. And they went, just go and have a look outside. And I walked to the front of the show, and there must have been 3,000 people in the queue before we'd even opened. And I was just like, holy crap, runners are freaking awesome. Like, I was literally like on cloud nine for the rest of the show. And the show was god awful, because it was small, and it was nowhere near what I'd wanted it to be, but it was the first start, right?
Absolutely.
And actually what I proved to the brands, and I proved to all of the people that wanted to talk to runners, was that actually runners will come to a show like this. And once I'd done that, sort of, now that show, 27,500 people go to it in the UK. We have like 300 exhibitors.
Oh, wow.
It's mega. And as a business, we now employ 40 people. We've got like an office. We have 7 shows in the UK, 3 in the US. We're just about to buy another event business in the US, which will be another 7 shows. And yeah, we've just, it's turned into almost like a proper company, which, if you take into the fact that we ran our first show in 2018, which is not that long ago, and we had COVID in between, which was a pretty tough time for events people. Right. It's, you know, it's just, I pinch myself every day because my hobby is my job, and it's just all down to the fact that runners are awesome, and they will show up if they say they will.
A little snow is not going to stop us runners. I don't think so.
No.
We're a pretty resilient bunch.
Did you see the Boston Run show last year when it was like minus 20? It was like the river froze, and you guys still showed up. And it was like, yeah, runners are wicked.
Mike, that story, I had all the feels in that story. Like, I've always wanted to ask people about how they start a company, and when you're like, you quit your job, and how do you do that? And how do you just trust the process? And I think the only way it really truly happens is passion.
Yeah. If
you're passionate about it, it's going to happen. And I had those feels for you right then when you're like, you couldn't look the guys in the eyes, and you're like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. I was like, wow.
So happy it worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole premise of the run show is amazing because it is so inclusive for everyone. Like, no matter what starting point you're at, it's just, you want anybody who has or wants that passion for running to feel included and to have fun.
Well, so we wrote down a couple of things that we wanted it to be. It was like, if you take a step out the door, you're a runner. So it's not about distance, and it's no matter how far or how fast you go is the other one. So those are our kind of 2 guiding premises, if you like. And it was really important to me that it became a community meeting point, and that the community was running. It wasn't ultra running or club running or fast 5Ks or whatever it was. It is actually just a home where anybody who liked running or loved running could come together and learn more about it, and maybe get better, or maybe just chat about it and, you know, make it more fun.
So take me back. All right, you just had your first running show. You have 2 employees. You had over 3,000 people show up. It's Monday morning, the day after the show. You sit down with your 2 employees. And are you just there in silence and awe, or you're like all excited? You got the whiteboard. You're like, "This is what we're going to do next time.
Next year?
Where do we go from here? What's next?"
So 2 things. So the first show actually had 10,000 people came to it.
Even better.
There were 3,000.
You had 3,000 at the door.
Yeah, so we got shut down by the fire department about an hour and a half after we opened because we didn't have enough space for all the people. We're a bit more we're a bit better at managing things now. And actually, I had no employees. What I had was a load of friends who I'd actually persuaded to just help.
volunteering their time.
And
Yeah.
this is running, right? Like any race director who asks for marshals and things like this will tell you about it.
Erika knows.
The number of people I mean, they're amazing. The number of people who just helped, because I've been in the exhibition industry for a while, and there were loads of people who I'll be forever grateful to who just helped. And then some people like Addie, who was one of my friends from university, who just helped me sell the stands. She's now an employee. She's now actually got a proper job here, but she just gave up her time to do it. And loads of people like Darren, who's my business partner. Anyway, but all of these people just sort of gave their time. And to answer your question, we got back on Monday, and I went into work mode. It was because all of a sudden it wasn't a pipe dream anymore, and I knew what to do now. Like because I've run exhibitions for you, and I had a plan, and I was like, I need to hire this person and this person, and then I'm going to launch this show, and I'm going to because all of a sudden it was back to my comfort zone. But I've never been more uncomfortable than that first show, and I guess it's like your first race because you are fully exposed. It's like the biggest party you could ever organize, and you lay out all of the drinks. You've got everything lined up, and you've no clue if anyone's going to come. Everyone said they're coming, but some of your mates are a bit flaky. There are some of the guys that you don't know, and you're like, is this going to happen? So, but after the first one, it was actually quite easy because you knew what you'd done wrong and you had something to work from, and you were like, okay, I need to grow this. And we sometimes compare the floor plan from the first ever run show, which is now 10% of what the current floor plan is. It was so shoestring, and I look back and I go, how the hell did that even work? But it's a start, right? And once you've got a start, you can go forward.
That is just amazing. And we're so looking forward to the run show that's coming to Boston this year. This is going to drop. This is mid-January, so it's only going to be a couple weeks away from when this episode
10
drops.
days away.
10 days, yeah.
If you're listening right now, the Boston Run Show is 10 days away. And how did you move the running show across the pond then over here to the States? And why did you choose Boston? It's because we're wicked awesome, I know, but tell us why.
So through the various iterations of the business growing, we brought in some other people and some investors, and some of those guys are really experienced. And one of them is my current chairman is a guy called Doug, who's a good friend of mine. He's a passionate runner, and he and I have done some mad challenges together. We just ran the West Highland Way, which is like this 96-mile ultra across a couple of mountain ranges. He's a badass runner, and he was like a proper exhibition guy. So he's been in the industry way longer than I have. He built his company and sold it for $1 billion. I mean, the guy's like not me. He's like a grown up.
Not us either.
He sort of came. Yeah. But he's the loveliest man. He's the most unassuming man you would ever meet. He's just a brilliant guy. But when he invested, he kind of came in and he was like, you really need to think about the US, because I'd always thought about going into Europe. And he was like, no, the US is the biggest market in the world. You should go out there. There's a big running culture. And I was kind of, yeah, that actually makes sense. And so that was pretty much the thought process. And then we started looking at it. We did some research, and I was like, okay, I could do 10 of these. I could do, there were certain states that were quite open that we could look at. And we started with Boston because it's easier to work from the UK to Boston, just time difference. But also Boston's where most of the brands are based. You've got one of the biggest marathons in the world there. You've got probably one of the biggest running cultures in the States. It is a runner's city, and it just felt right. We also launched Chicago and LA. We had to pull those because of COVID, because we couldn't get them off, but we will probably go back and do those again. But Boston, we were in, and we were like, yeah, actually, this is just working. And the brands loved it. The people loved it. And we were like, yeah, let's just go. And it went really well, despite you guys very kindly arranging the coldest day I think you've ever had in Boston.
You're welcome.
We did it just to test you, to see how it would come out.
Like, if they come back after this, they're one of us.
I have never been that. I went for a run the day before the real cold snap hit, and I was like, that's the coldest I've ever been. My face hurts
Yup.
being outside.
What do they call
And
that?
then
The
the
polar
first hit,
vortex or something? Or that like a bomb cyclone? I don't know what they want to call that, but it was
it was something
frigid.
like that. I'm pretty sure I saw a polar bear walking around outside the exhibition centre. It was
Right.
it was pretty damn cold. But actually, what amazed me was, and we had at that one we had Carl Lewis opening, and like Carl Lewis is like, you know, an all-time legend. And to be honest, for me, if the show had failed and I got to meet Carl Lewis, it was fine. It was like, because what a dude. But actually, people just showed up. Again, it's like it's like when we did the running show in the UK, and it just made me think. Actually, there's a lot of differences in the UK and the US. There's a lot of differences in the way the brands work, the way the retail market works, the type of running you guys do. But actually, there is just one thing that's synonymous, which is runners are cool and they show up. And you know that really happened. And then we look at this year, and I'm kind of like, actually, so we've got Michael Johnson this year,
I saw that.
which is epic.
Yes, it is.
And you know, we've got, I mean, when are you going to get a chance to meet Michael Johnson and have a picture taken with him and just ask him whatever you want to ask him? To me, that's, forget everything else, forget all the cool stuff. Just meeting Michael Johnson is wicked, but there is other stuff to do. But for me, that's a pretty cool. And I don't know if you know Scott. I mean, you're into ultras, so Scott Jurek.
So
Yep.
I was going to say the one guy I want to meet and I can't wait to have on the pod one day is Scott Jurek. So I can't wait to meet him. I have a different connection with him, but I can't wait to meet him and be like, yo, dude, we know Ryan. We're friends with
dude.
Ryan.
So we've had Scott at a show in the past, and he's amazing. He's everything you want him to be. Like, he came out for dinner with us.
Ooh.
Like, he's just such a cool guy. And actually, all the runners are. It's, you know, and I've not met Michael yet, but when we had Carl at the show, he was due to be there for 2 hours, and I think he stayed the whole day.
Oh, that's
He
great.
went and spoke to everybody.
That's what runners are like. That's what we're like. That's what the people, these runners who come on this podcast are like. It's like, hey, can you give us an hour? And then it's like 2.5 hours later, guys, we got to stop. It's just like, we love to go and be part of these things, and you'd never want to leave. Like, I'm locking down a babysitter to go late because I'm like, I'm not going to want to leave the run show on Saturday early to go get my kids. I want to stay.
Yep.
And actually, to be honest, the bit that I think people will be attracted by the big names, the Hella Sidibe, the Scott Jurek, the Michael Johnson. But actually, the people that will make you stay will be the stories that you didn't think you wanted to hear from. There are so many amazing, amazing athletes out there doing incredible things. And actually, the hardest job is the job of our content team, who have to pick who goes on stage. Because there's like literally 2,000 stories that you could put up there.
Oh, yeah.
But we have people in the UK who queue up from early, and then they run and they get the front seat at the stage, and they literally sit and they watch every single session. And we could easily have that in the States as well, because the content is so good.
That sounds like a day well spent to me. Just hearing so many different like stories. I mean, I would do it. But how do you choose, like, sitting there or going to mingle and trying to meet new people and buying stuff, and how do you spend your time correctly? Is there a right way to do the run show?
Yeah, there is. Basically, just come for 2 days and do everything.
There you go.
But we do put breaks in the content, and there's a break in the lunchtime period as well, so you can go and have a shop around the brands. And actually, that's one of the things that we do encourage people to do, because a lot of the brands bring new kit. So Puma last year were there with their sort of carbon plated shoes, and I'd not really considered running Pumas, if I'm honest, before that show. And I tried them, and they're freaking awesome. And I still run in those same shoes. And I swear, and this, I'm not sponsored by Puma, by the way, but I swear that there is, like, that knocked minutes off my time, like on the shorter road stuff.
Oh, those carbon plates are something else. But for Puma, if they can make Molly Seidel run that fast, I would absolutely consider trying them.
Honestly, they're insane. So Puma, we've got Puma back again. I'm looking at the list, but this is the advantage of the company now being a bit older, is we actually do have good brands there. So we have Adidas, we have Asics, we have Ultra, New Balance, Saucony, Craft, Darn Tough, Skechers. Wahoo, Hyperice, Cybex, Ufos, Therabody, loads of stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's like hundreds of stands
Hyper
there.
Ice, Marathon Sports, My Gym.
Yeah.
So many. I'm looking at it. Wahoo. It just goes on and on. Exhibitors here, sponsors. The list is on and
Yeah.
on, man. I can't wait. I'm really excited. I didn't get to go last year, so I'm super pumped up right now.
Oh, you should, and I have to give a shout out to Marathon Sports actually, because so they're our official retail partner, so they help us get a lot of the brands into the show. And we met with Colin and Dan, as it was. They're no longer as involved, but and they believed in the running show right from the start, and they've supported us all the way through, and they've been absolutely brilliant. And they're so ingrained in that Boston run community; they really get it. And for us, what I wanted to happen, I didn't want the show just to be a place where you come and you get sold to. I wanted it to be a place where you could go and get correct advice. So we always wanted to partner with a specialty retailer.
Yes.
And the advantage of a specialty retailer is you know that someone's not just going to sell you the shoes because they've got the highest price point. They're actually going to sell you the thing that you're going to be able to run in effectively. And I think that's quite important, because the difference between buying your trainers online and buying it from a specialist is night and day. And I'm sure you guys go to the proper places and get the proper advice, and I have, and it, going back to my days when I ran a marathon in a pair of high techs, I suggest it's probably the better thing to do.
I do appreciate that Marathon Sports and like the other specialty running stores will map your foot, and they could tell you what kind of shoes you need, if you need orthotics in it, just anything that's going to support like a healthy running habit. Well, not a habit, but like a running form. So you can do it the right way and avoid injuries. And so it's totally worth it to have somebody actually fit you for those shoes.
Yeah, and it's also to explain what all the words mean.
Exactly.
Like, they use a lot of words like stack height and gait and pronation, and it's like, what do all these things mean? No one knows. So you have to talk to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about to help you decide. And I think it's one of the things that we can sometimes be guilty of as people in the running industry is using big words. And actually, if you can't explain something simply, then you probably don't understand it well enough yourself. So
I'm guilty.
If we want more, but if we want more people to run and we want them to try and do better and enjoy it more, then we have to make it accessible. And that's what the show is all about.
Absolutely.
The show looks awesome, guys. Go check out the website. I think many of you have tickets now. We have ours. We got ours through Mary McManus, and I know there's other codes out there and everything. But the website's awesome. You can see all the brands, all the speakers. The whole entire agenda is up there. You got on Saturday, Kelly Roberts opens the show on both days. You got like the marathon and the road stage. There's a trail and ultra stage. In the future year, there'll be an On the Runs podcast stage. Maybe. You got like Dave McGilvery's going to be there. You guys know Dave. Becca Peasy. I've recently been learning about Becca. She's amazing. She just race directed a marathon in Antarctica. How cool is that?
Wow.
There's so many cool people. Laura Green, previous guest on the pod, she's going to be there. I'm sure that's going to be a hit. So, and then like the one I can't wait to meet is Scott Jurek.
So here's the thing for you guys as well. If you use the code podcast at the checkout, then you can get a free ticket.
Ooh.
So anybody listening to this, if you use podcast at the checkout, we'll give you a free ticket.
We'll have that in the show notes. That's awesome. All right, guys, come down to the Boston Run Show. We're going to be there. Erika and I will both be there. Both days, hopefully, fingers crossed, definitely one for me.
January what, 27th, 28th?
It's the 27th. Right? Yeah, 27th and 28th at the Heinz Convention Center. Has it always been at the Heinz Convention Center for you?
Yeah, we've this is our second edition, so we've always been at the Heinz so far, and it's been really good for us. So we've got a couple of other shows now. We do a snow show and an outdoor show, which we run at the BCEC. But we're very, all of our US stuff at the moment is all in Boston, and it's, we're pretty loyal to those venues. They're pretty good to us.
Are you a big I know you're a big outdoor enthusiast, but are you big into skiing and snowboarding?
It's not really my thing, if I'm honest. We've got some other guys in the company who are. I've tried it. I feel like it's me, and I particularly feel like the après scene is very me.
Right.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's putting the time in to do it, because my running takes up so much, and I run rain or shine, and it's I want to be good at it if I do it, and I know that sounds really, but I really want to put some time in, and I think maybe when I've got a bit more time, that's definitely next on the list.
My worry is if I ski, I'm going to hurt myself somehow. And if I hurt myself, I'm not going to be able to run. So I had to pick and choose my sports, and I'm sticking to running. That's where my passion is. I could take or leave skiing, snowboarding, other things.
So we have a massive crossover, actually. We have a lot of the skiers in particular use running in the off season for their fitness. So it kind of tends to flip the other way.
I should also just say I'm not good at skiing and stuff. So I'm just like, nope, just leave it. It's not for me.
Well, look, if you're into the skiing, if you want to come to the Snowbound show, we've got that one as well for you guys.
I would
so that's on in
come
November.
and support. I would just be there
can
for
come
that,
with
the
me
cute
and I
hats
can
and
be like-
mittens and that kind of thing.
You can come with me and I'll be like, yo, check out these $1,000 boots. They're amazing because they like do this and all. Yeah, I love it. I'm a big skier.
Well, that makes me feel better about spending like $250 on a nice pair of carbon plated shoes.
But my ski boots
Okay,
last
let's
me about
not
10
talk
years.
about how many pairs of shoes we own, because I'm going to get in trouble.
Uh-oh. Yeah, let's not, because I have way too many and I'd rather not expose myself to.
No,
Yeah.
I love skiing. I've been to similar ski and snowboard shows in recent years as well. So I want to go back to the Boston Run Show though. Weeks leading up to the Boston Run Show, like we're 10 days out right now when everyone's listening. What is going on? What is you and your team doing to prepare now that you're probably moving into the venue and you're getting set up, ready to go?
Yeah, so we usually get in a day or 2 days beforehand. So
Ooh.
what people don't see is like we build like a mini city like in days, and it's very different working in the US to the UK. So there's lots of different restrictions and regulations, and it's honestly it's terrifying. It's like because you're the English guy, right? And you think you're very reliant on your partners, and you just have to trust them. And actually, luckily, the partners we've got were brilliant and really looked after us. But it's we have an operations team, and their job is to coordinate all of the contractors and make sure they all show up. We have obviously a last minute, oh my God, the whole of Boston's now an icicle. How's everybody going to get there? Do we have to do some travel messaging and things like that? We have a marketing team at that point are dealing with probably 200, 300 emails or social media messages a day from people who've got very specific questions about how do I get there? When can I see this person? How can I see this brand? So they're working through that. The content team are dealing with all kinds of issues. So we had one speaker who arrived 10 minutes after the show closed.
Oh, no.
Not through a fault of his own, absolutely no problem at all to do with him. He did everything to get there, and he got there 10 minutes after the show closed just because plain. So we have all of that kind of, and then we have our sales guys who are sort of liaising with all of the brands and the clients and trying to make sure that they're looked after in the run up to it. And then me, who's just basically annoying all of them, just asking like all the questions they don't want to be asked. And going, I've spotted this spelling mistake on page 23 of the doc, and it's like, yeah,
like my show notes.
generally, I think
I'm the
I think
spell
they prefer
checker.
it when I'm not. But I was going to say, it's just a full on. It's so busy, and actually, what I think people miss is so we've got our big running show in the UK. And we've got our big running show in Boston, both at the end of January. So our team are working over Christmas, and working really hard to do it. And they work so hard, and they genuinely have such passion. And it started out as a group of mates, and we've kind of kept that vibe in the office, even though we're a much bigger business now. But most people actually, if they don't love running, they love one of the other sports that we do, and they are so keen and dedicated and passionate, and they just really do their best. And so if you see any of them at the show and you've enjoyed it, please tell them, because it makes such a difference to them to hear something nice. And inevitably, you only ever hear a small amount of nice, and then the one or two people who've had a bad time, you hear them loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. I always try to say thank you.
I do too.
I always try to say like great job.
Yeah, and I think, look, Most people are pretty cool. Like 90% of people have not a bad word to say. And actually, even the people who have had a bad experience, well, you need to hear that stuff, right? Because it helps you improve. And I think if you're arrogant enough that you don't want to hear the negative feedback, your show's going to die pretty quickly. So we do want to hear that stuff too. But if you see them, please just say well done, because they're awesome people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, productive like criticism is good, but just be like, oh,
Yeah.
the weather was 20 below. The whole thing
You
sucked.
got
You
to
can't control
compliment
the weather.
sandwich it. You do a
Yeah.
compliment, the little constructive criticism in the middle, and then another compliment at the end. Just a...
See, we call it something different. It's not a compliment sandwich in the UK, but it's
Oh,
close.
no.
You
It's
put
like-
the bad bit in the middle.
It's like everyone there is doing their best to put on a good show for you. They're not like, no, I want a crappy show. So I always say thanks for putting on a
Yeah.
good show, and I can't wait to go to your show in a couple of weeks here. We talked to Dave McGilvery about the prep that goes into the Boston Marathon, and they start to prep 14 months before the race. How long in advance are you guys prepping for the Boston Run Show every year, or just any big run show? Do you start the very next day after the show closes, or are you like you already began?
It starts before. Yeah. So before we go on site, we've already got next year's venue sorted. We've already got some of the brands and the retailers and some of the headline speakers already confirmed. So it's usually 13, 14 months ahead. Now, bearing in mind, we're now doing, well, next year it'll be 17 shows. It's a team of, still a small team that runs that.
Mhm.
And within that team, you've got the finance, the operations, the content, the marketing, the sales, and then the general management guys. So they are spinning plates so fast. And they're brilliant. They're an amazing bunch of awesome people. And look, we've got the best job in the world, so don't cry for us. We we get to do really cool stuff, but it's intense. It's hard work, and it's quite high stress, and you never know like how it's going to go until the show opens. Like
Right.
as I said before, it's that big party. Everybody says they're coming. You've signed them all up, and we've got tens of thousands of people signed up for the Boston Run Show, but until they're there. They're not there. So it's always a gamble, but when it pays off, oh my God, it's the rush, like crossing the marathon for the first time.
So you said that you have the Boston Run Show and the UK Run Show both in January, the end of January. So are you staying over there to handle the UK side and you have your team over here doing Boston, or will you come over here too and kind of juggle between the two?
Well, so we're getting to the point now where I'm apparently not needed at every show, or any show, according to some of the guys. So we're trying to decide which shows I go to and actually limit, because I can't go. I've got a young family. I can't go to every show. So at the moment,
you can't be in everywhere at once. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, Jo, who's my COO, she said she's going to the Boston Run Show, and I'm going to do the UK one. But Michael Johnson,
Right.
so I'm kind of like, I'm trying to find an excuse to go, and I haven't found one yet, but I really want to go.
Well, you got to come
It's
meet us.
like-
Is that a good enough excuse?
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go.
Well, I feel like we need to have a very important business meeting about this Dunkin' Donuts costume, right?
Absolutely. We got to make sure your costume is going to be accurate and
Yeah, we need to go to an on-site Dunkin' Donuts in Boston. Like you can't do a Dunkin' Donuts in the UK.
not the
We
same.
got to
That's
look
a
at the
good
cup.
point.
We
Now
got to
that's
get a
my
good
reason.
visual. We got to take multiple pictures and angles. Maybe look at the styrofoam cup versus the plastic cup. This is a big deal. It is worth the expense to come
I love it.
to Boston.
This is why we're going to be friends.
Yes.
I like you guys. We're
Yes.
going to be friends.
And then we'll come to
but
the
I
UK
just- I'm-
one day.
Oh, well, please do. I mean, we'd love to have you over. I mean, the UK shows, yeah. I mean, if you're ever in the UK, we seem to have a show every 5 minutes now, but yeah, it would be, it's going to be really sad if I'm not there. For me, I don't think they will mind. I think the team will actually quite like it. But because I'm a fan, I love this stuff.
Mhm.
And I genuinely, for me, I would pay to fly out there to do it, to see the brands, there's so much cool stuff to do. It isn't just shopping. There's like loads of interactive things you can do, and workshops and gait analysis and testing and dietary stuff, and it's all the kit tech nutrition advice and races. Those are the kind of the things that you do. And then the speaker program, and just the opportunity to be amongst runners for a weekend for me is a holiday. If I go, I will take over and be a control freak. So they probably don't want me to come, but I really want to go.
I just want to shout out a couple of the other brands or exhibitors I see here that we know and we're very familiar with. The Boston Bulldogs Running Club. We know a lot of guys who are in that running club. Clarence Del Mar Marathon's going to be there. UFOs is going to be there. Of course, we love UFOs.
Big fan.
And the other one I saw that I thought was interesting, but I love, Sugarloaf Mountain's going to be there. I'm going to go over there and be like, yeah, it's a place I love to ski. So I'm going to be like, yo, what's up, Sugarloaf?
So this is a big thing. A lot of these ski resorts in the off season are repositioning themselves as outdoor adventure areas, and actually they've got great places to run. They've got great places to hike and other activities to do too. So it's really interesting to a venue that you maybe have seen in a particular light. If you're a skier or a snowboarder, you go, actually, I can do so much other cool stuff there. So I think it's great that they're there, and I'm hoping we get other resorts taking the same approach.
Well, it's exciting. I'm super excited. I can't wait to go to the run show in a couple days. And so you said Joe will be there, but Mike, I think you're going to be there, because your guy, Michael Johnson's going to be there. You're going to be there. I believe in it.
Make it work, Mike. Make it work.
Okay, well, I hope so, because I think we need to chat about this Dunkin' Donuts stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And I need to tell you how I found Barbie.
This has been fun. You mind? You ran. I want to ask you this. We'll go back to running here. You ran 4 ultra marathons in 4 days.
Yeah, that was. When you have friends who are a bad influence.
Yes.
So I got.
Hello, I'm the bad influence.
So I have this friend, Susie Shaw, and she was over here. She was a pop star. She was in a band who had a pretty successful career, and she post that she sort of talked quite openly about mental health and how it was quite a tough time, and she now uses running as sort of a way to sort of move beyond that. And we did an event. She wanted to do something to raise awareness for mental health and raise money for and so on. So in the UK, unfortunately, 19 people every day take their own life.
Oh goodness!
And that's a horrible stat. And we were just kind of like, well, okay, we're going to run for 19 hours, and like that'll be our way of shining a spotlight on it, getting people to talk about stuff which they don't maybe talk about. So we did that. That was sort of 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And then this year we were like, we got to do something else. And so we were kind of like, she's like, I want to do 4 marathons in 4 days. I was like, nah, it's bullshit. Everybody does that. It's like, let's do 4 ultras. So the premise was 1 in 4 people in the UK have a diagnosed mental health issue. And that's diagnosed. So clearly the problem is much bigger than that. So at the start of each day, we would roll a 4-sided dice. And if you got a 1, you ran 50 miles. And if you got any other number, you'd run 30 miles.
It's a cool game.
And that was, so it's kind of like 1 in 4. So not only was it 4 ultras in 4 days, but it was the jeopardy of not knowing whether it was 50 or 30.
That's a huge jump too, between 30 miles and 50 miles. Like,
and then you're cheering, and then you go, I'm cheering a 30 miler. And I've just run.
Let me get 30. Let me get 30. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is not, and we did it, and we ran from Manchester down to London, and it was we only got 150, which we were very happy about, but we made like a documentary about it, and it was so fun. It was like we had a crew of people who all, again, volunteers who helped out, and shout out to Jules who ran the logistics of the whole thing. It was a weird, like, 18 to 30s holiday for ultra runners. It was kind of, we all just became really close. We ran through some random parts of the UK that I've never run through before. And the routes were all plotted, and we had a 30 or a 50 mile route, which we would download that morning. So the dice roll was done that morning.
And we got 4 different
celebrities.
Okay.
No clue. Didn't know what shoes to wear. Didn't know any of it. And it was, and actually, Susie is like one of the toughest most resilient human beings I've ever met, and she'd never done anything like this. I mean, I've run a few ultras. I mean, I, I think that was her. Was that the second? I think the only time she'd ever run an ultra before was on the 19 hours. So this was her second and through to fifth ultra.
Wow.
And what an incredible, and I will be, her personality was incredible. She didn't drop once. She kept her energy really high. It was all very positive. There was not a question in her mind that she was not going to complete it. And it was just really fun. And I think when you run with people like that, it's hard to pick running partners, right? But actually to spend 4 days running 4 ultras and very little sleep and staying in different hotels and eating out the back of a car and, we went through a lot.
Yeah, you really get to know
Subway
somebody
meatball-
when you're spending that kind of time with them, especially while running, because we all know what can happen on the runs, literal runs.
Look,
And
hey,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
But hey, you've all had like an ultra strop, right? When you're in an ultra and you get really you just hate everybody,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like that happens. And I remember on the third day, so we did a 30, then we did a 50 on day 2, and then day 3 was a 30, and I was dying. I couldn't eat anything.
Oh,
It was quite hot, and I couldn't take anything on board, and I was just so grumpy. And one of the crew members turned up with meatballs from Subway in a pot because I couldn't eat bread. I just couldn't. And for some reason, these were the only things I could eat. And I think I ate 6 of them. I think I ate them whole because I was so hungry. And I went from being what can only be described as a horrible person into someone who was really happy, and I was skipping down the trails in the space. So Subway meatballs. Maybe I'll dress up as a meatball and run the Boston Marathon. But
It's like a switch, though. Like once you get some fuel in you and you can actually like keep it down and start absorbing it, like the switch flips.
Nutrition is just so tough and it's so personal. I remember my first ever ultra, and I was such a novice. Like they were giving out like oranges and melons at the aid station. I was like, I really want that. And so I rang my crew and I was like, the next time I see you, can you get some fruit? And they're like, cool. And they didn't really know either. They would, because it wasn't like proper ultra crew. It's just my friends.
Yep.
And so they rocked up. We got these plums from the supermarket. I was like, cool. So I ate 8 plums, 30 miles into a 50-mile race. And I was like, 8 plums, 30 miles in a 50-mile race it's not a good idea. It's like, I felt like I'd been punched in the guts for the entire way around. It was awful. But yeah, if you get your nutrition wrong, it can really screw you up, right?
Oh my gosh. That is a roller coaster. I commend you for doing that, though. That is just a lot of running. I mean, though, once you do your 50-miler and you go back to a 30, you're like, yes, I only have 30 to do today. It's all about perspective, right?
Well, it's all about recovery. And actually, so I did 7 marathons in 7 days a while ago. And actually, I didn't recover properly. I didn't. It's about the sleep. It's about the stretching. It's about actually massage and doing all of those things right. And I was, by the end of that week, I was creaking up. I could barely get up and down stairs. I was, I had to put these really aggressive calf guards on my Achilles so that, because my Achilles was so swollen. But on the 4 ultras in 4 days, at the end of it, I was actually all right. I was moving fine and I was doing okay. And the reason was because I was recovering properly, and we had a physio with us the whole way. David Shaw, amazing guy. And he would just put us back together again at night. And he donated his time for free because everyone was passionate about the charity and raising awareness for mental health. And it's, particularly for guys, it's not a thing that people talk about.
True.
So you said you did a documentary on this. Is this somewhere where we could watch it? Do you have it posted somewhere?
It's not out yet, but it's going to come out this year.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a YouTube channel, the Run Show TV, where we've released a couple of films, and that's kind of one of my ideas. Is I'd like us to do is just follow these kind of documentaries for people who've done cool things. So we have an Olympic sprinter over here, a guy called Ewan Thomas. So he was a 400-meter sprinter, and he consistently finished second behind Michael Johnson, which, but he's got a silver medal, and I mean he's very well known over here, and actually we made a documentary about him running his first 100-miler.
Oh, wow.
And actually, so that one's out there, so you can see that one. And I ran with him, so I was a late sub in to help because our other friend who was supposed to be running it couldn't because she had work commitments, so she had to sort of do that. So I was kind of like, yeah, I can help him run. We did the training runs together. I did the 50-miler, and I felt great. And he was struggling, and I was like, I'm going to be amazing. I'm totally going to help you out here, mate. I'm that guy. That's when running teaches you a lesson. So this film, so this was the only race I've ever DNF'd.
Oh.
And the whole thing's caught on film, which my friends love. And so I get 50 miles through this race where I'm the guy that's supposed to be helping the new guy, right? And 50 miles in, it's really hot and I'm all over the place and I'm struggling. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to have a little lie down. So I lay in. There's no shade in this route. It's the South Downs Way, and so I'm lying under a hedge trying to get cool to cool myself down. This dog comes up and starts licking salt off me, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out.
Oh, man.
So, and credit to you, and I mean, he was nowhere near in ultra shape. He should never have been able to do that race, and he was in bits. His foot was actually already injured. He's got quite a serious foot injury now off the back of it. But he finished the race, and that is the difference between an Olympian and an ordinary person like me. Is he was able to just find another gear, and he was barely moving at the end of it, but he did not stop, and he was 20 minutes away from the cutoff, I think 3 checkpoints out. Mm-hmm. So everyone was like, well, he's done. And then he started picking it up and he picked up the pace. And it was like, this is a 100-mile race, which is really hard to do. And for a guy who had never previously run beyond 50 miles, and he'd only run 50 miles once, and frankly, he'd whinged the whole way around. He'd hated it. And it just shows that those guys are just, your brain can just take you to another gear.
Mental toughness. It's hard to come by, but once you have it, that's great. It's great.
So I'm going back to that race this year. Actually, that's it's the only race I've ever failed, and I'm like, and he said he'll come and run the last 10 miles with me.
There you go.
I was just going to ask, what is next for Mike Seaman? You had the DNF, so you're going back to this race. What else do you have on deck coming up? You love these ultras. You just randomly did a 50, or maybe it wasn't random. You just ran a 50K the other weekend. What's coming up next besides on the running front, not with the run show, but for your personal running adventures?
Yeah, I've got a few. So I'm going to go back and do Paris, I think. I'd like to see if I could do a reasonable marathon time. My fastest time is still 3:47 dressed as an elephant.
That's amazing.
I kind of think I can probably go faster if I'm not dressed as an elephant, although I'm not sure.
I mean, if you run on your 2 legs, you would, but if you're running on all 4 like an elephant, that's not going to work.
Yeah, so I don't know. I want to see what I'm getting a bit older now, so maybe I haven't got much left, but I'd like to give it a go.
You're probably the fastest elephant ever, actually, because we had. I don't know if you know Brittany Charbonneau, but we had Brittany on. Brittany is the Guinness Book of World Records fastest ever 20-miler by a crustacean, and she ran as a lobster and won the race.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah,
she's great.
I need to be friends with her.
She's my new bestie. Her and I just clicked too, but she's got a fun personality. She's her Instagram is Funny Runner 26.2 or 26.2, and she loves dressing up as Abraham Lincoln. I can't even describe half of the costume she does. She's great. Look her up.
So at the end of the lobster run, was she a little crabby? Sorry.
Well, she won the race, but she said she had a hard time opening up the gel packs with her claws. So yeah, she might have been a little crabby.
Oh, amazing!
So good.
Well, yeah. So I've got Paris. I've got a 100K race booked in. I've got a 100-miler, which is the South Downs 100 that I haven't done, and I'm crewing. A friend of mine is doing the Keys 100. So. And yeah, so I did the Daytona 100 last year.
Oh, wow.
which is epic, by the way. I
We
mean,
just had a friend
straight
finish
lines,
this
straight.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our buddy Maurice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maurice, the Marathon Panda, just completed the Daytona 100 the other week.
The Marathon Panda. Why the Marathon Panda?
He's a big fan of pandas.
Okay. Did he do it dressed as a panda?
Oh, he might have had a hat on with the like panda ears, but that's
definitely
probably the
had-
extent of his panda.
Yeah, he definitely had that. He has the T-shirt. He actually had, if you didn't notice, Erika, the On the Runs T-shirt there in Daytona too. But no, he's
I
the
did.
Marathon Panda. He runs the Boston Marathon in a purple suit every year. For help me out, Erika, what was the foundation?
He used to do it for the Rett Foundation, Rett syndrome. But
He
I
does it
forget
the Heron
what-
Project. It's the Heron Project, right?
Project. Mhm.
Yes, and that's for drugs and alcohol abuse. So he does that and raises money for that. And he runs. He's on like on January 1st is 8 years of him running every
8-year
day in a
run
row
streak.
outside.
Amazing. That's so cool.
You will love this if you ever meet this guy, meet either Brittany Charbonneau or Maurice, you're gonna love these two people.
I like the sound of all of them. I want to be friends with all of them. But I think what you've touched on there is something that I think is also cool about running is actually we do all this stupid stuff, but we also raise a ton of money for charity, and I think that's pretty cool. And if that will be the reason that I always try and do something different every year is because I want to it's putting something back into the world, right?
I love
It's
it.
like so. Yeah, I think it's cool.
Good for you, Mike.
Sorry, I went all preachy then, didn't I?
No, that's what we love too. If like running gives us so much and we just need something to give back. And you're absolutely right. If there's any opportunity to do that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, so Doug and I, the guy I work with, we did a run to the West Highland Way, which was that's the toughest thing I've ever done, which is the 96 miler. We did, I mean, mainly through his friends because he's a big business guy, but we raised over £100,000 for charity.
That's amazing.
And it's like, when else do you ever do something that is that benevolent and just good? And I think it's like, so if you're out there and you're running and you're getting money for a charity, then like you are actually genuinely doing good. It's brilliant. Have we lost Eric?
Did we lose
Has he gone?
I'm not sure.
He's had enough of me.
Well, I hope he
I'm
jumps
so boring.
in real You are not boring, Mike. Not at all. But now I'm like, where do we go from here? He's usually the one who reels us back in. Hold on, let's see.
Should we close off? Should we close off the show between us? Should we go? So, me and you hosting this podcast now.
See, you'll see. This is totally not my strong suit. I need Eric to reel it back in. But this is. I hope.
Well, thanks guys for listening. I'm now the new host of On the Runs podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and I appreciate you all giving it time. Whatever run you're doing right now, keep running. There
you go. Honestly, so are you a podcast guy normally? Do you listen to stuff when you run?
Yeah, I do actually. I go through phases. So it's music or podcast or nothing. And actually, some of when I depending on the type of run I'm on, and like when I start a run, often the first 30 minutes are kind of just processing work stuff or life stuff or whatever. And then I kind of like that next 30 minutes, which is kind of nothing going on.
Gotcha.
He's come back.
I don't know what happened. My whole entire computer turned off, and I have the blue screen of death, and it goes working on updates. So I'm joining you from my phone. I trusted Erika could run the show without me.
I tried a little bit. I'm not very good, but I was asking him about if he listens to stuff on his run, because he was going to be our new podcast host. You've been replaced.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, Eric, while you were gone, I've now taken over.
As long as I can continue to produce and edit the show, I'm all for it.
But we're trying to find out what he listens to while he runs. So he does like a mixture of podcasts and music, which will lead me into my question. Should I just ask it now, you think?
Go for it.
All right.
I think so, Mike. This is a tough question. Good luck.
So we have a Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So it could be anything that gets you pumped up, just something that like you could zone out to, just anything that you think you would enjoy and our listeners would enjoy on a playlist.
One song. Like, there's so many songs. How do you pick one? I would go. The Killers, Mr. Brightside.
Oh, excellent.
That's a
I
great
think it's quite
song, and my
hard.
buddy Scott is going to love you.
Yeah, like I think if you're going to pick one band, you've got to pick someone who's kind of quite coverall. But I mean, I go for all sorts. Like, and actually, I think that's the great thing about running is the variety of a playlist, right?
Right.
You can mix it up. Have you made this into a playlist?
Yeah.
Can I download
Yep, it's
this?
on Spotify.
I'm on this.
Yep, we're-
because I quite like that randomness.
So as of right now, I still haven't completed. I had a homework assignment where when we first made this, we were just adding anything and everything to it. We'd ask the guests, they'd add their songs, but like we personally, me and Eric, added anything we were feeling at the moment. So it's like a 24-hour long playlist. So we're going to curate it. We're going to kind of chop it down a little bit, make it a little easier to listen to. But right now, yeah, go for it. And we have like a link tree and you can find it through there, but it's the On the Runs podcast, On the Runs playlist, I think, on Spotify. You could just search it and it should pop right up.
Yeah, I'll email it to you as well.
That's easier.
I'm on this. So my 100-miler, I'm listening to your 24-hour playlist. I'm
That
doing
should get
it.
you right through.
Love it. Just have On the Runs all the time, and we'll work on that On the Run stage at one of the run shows in the future. Well, I'm going to ask my question, and it is new this year. It used to be I used to go creeping through Instagram, but we have this thing we call the Code Brown Commandments, and that's the new thing we're trying to build. We want to get like what every runner should know to avoid a code brown. One, for instance, was like, know what poison ivy looks like. And another one would be,
Right.
know where the bathrooms are on the route. It could also be something like, just know where you're going or where you've been. Do you have anything to add to our Code Brown commandments?
I'd say leave no trace.
Oh, that's a wonderful one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing. Like whatever you take out with you, you take back with you. It's like, yeah. Is that a good one?
That's excellent. Excellent.
I like that one.
That you don't want to have a negative impact. So just leave it the way you found it. I always try to do that, like even during a race. Like I feel bad throwing like anything on the ground. Like if my cup misses the trash can, I will stop and pick it up and put it in the trash can.
Yeah, I think it's look. We all like to play outdoors, right? And it's kind of it's our mutual responsibility to keep it the way we found it.
Yeah. Oh, that's an excellent one. Way to go, Mike. Nice job.
I'm hanging up and I'm jumping back on.
Sure.
I'm back in the hot seat. I'm hosting again, Erika. So, Erika,
there you go.
So, what do you listen to when you're out on the run?
So, I am sadly cannot focus on podcasts while I run. I like to listen to them in the car, but that On the Runs playlist, it's got so many different genres. Sometimes I have to find like a slow cadence, so I like a slower song to listen to. But mostly, I listen to EDM songs that just like I like to match my cadence to the faster beats.
Well, so I'm with you on this, and I think actually cadence in music is actually quite an interesting one, particularly on longer runs, because especially if you're switching beats, like if you've got something that's really up tempo and then something that's really down tempo, you can find yourself syncing with the music, and you're like, crap, I'm running way faster than I should be, or like
it is really good for those tempo runs. But yeah, I find that I just zone out a lot, and I'll be listening to a song, but I won't really hear it, but my feet will just connect with the beats. So that's whatever can just keep me at a good pace and just something steady. That's what I like to listen to.
Do you ever sometimes like repeat like words to yourself, or just like go into like a rhythm? Like sometimes I won't have music on, and I'll just be like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3, and I'll do that for like an hour. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me?
I had to do that during, it's kind of like a mantra. You just keep repeating it in your head. But when I just completed my first 100-miler last year, and there was a point where I was kind of in the dark place, and I was just kept repeating like, just go, like 1 foot, 2 foot, just one in front of the other. Like I had to just keep repeating stuff, or else I was going to break down. So Which
100-miler did you do?
I did one in Virginia. It was called the Yeti 100. And it was, I guess kind of a beginner 100. There wasn't a whole lot of elevation. There were no mountains like your like the hard one that you've done, but it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people, and I think as of when this drops, I should be in it again for next year.
I love the way every single runner goes, yeah, I just ran a 100-miler, but it wasn't a hard one. I'm
well,
like,
oh my God, it was hard. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just talking not a lot of elevation. The 100 miles is 100 miles, whichever way you slice it.
She signed up because she thought it was going to be an easy 100.
I learned a lot.
It was
things.
not.
I know what to do for next time.
So my friend, so I run a lot with, I have a friend who's an incredible ultra runner, and she's a Peloton instructor, and she was the one that made me do the Daytona 100.
Was it like, Susie Chan?
Yeah, she's a terrible friend.
No, she's a wonderful friend. She's the bad influence.
100. She's the worst influence you can ever have. I mean, never be friends with someone who's run the Marathon des Sables 4 times, like, because they would make you feel like, she's like, oh, this is a really easy 100. That's what she said to me, and it's 100 miles. And to be fair, even I couldn't get lost, and I'm terrible at directions, but because you just keep the C on your left.
There you go.
But it was pretty much road the whole way, which I'd never done for that distance. And it was brutal. And obviously she made it look easy because she's an incredible runner. And I just about scraped my ass over the finish line. And I was hallucinating. I saw giant flamingos where there were palm trees. I saw all kinds of stuff. It was like, but yeah, do you know what? She's one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. And she's a flipping awesome runner. So yeah, she'd be great on your podcast, actually. You should get her on.
I'm a big fan of Susie. I actually have a Peloton shirt on right now, but she is awesome. I take a lot of her classes. But yeah, I was following along with her when she did Badwater. And that is just such an incredible race. And the fact that she finished it with a smile, I don't know how she did it. That's intense.
She is different gravy, that lady. Funny story about that race, because she was getting her like tight. We run together. There's a group of us that run quite a lot together, and she was kind of like picking her like elite people, the people she could really trust to come and crew her, because you can only have a certain number. And Badwater is obviously quite hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I am horrific in the heat. I can't. I'm like, if it's 20 degrees plus, I'm done. I melt. And I was like, Susie, I don't know how to say this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to help you crew. And she went, I don't know how to say this, but I wasn't going to ask you.
At least you're both honest.
Near that level. I'm nowhere near it. I mean, she is light years ahead of where I would be on that. And actually, just looking, I don't think I could have run 5 miles in that heat. And for her to be able to do 135 over a couple of mountain ranges.
Yeah, they call it the world's toughest foot race for a reason. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what a race. I mean, it's so brilliant. I don't know if people here maybe follow it, but if you've not heard of it, look up Badwater 135. It is, when it's on, it's hard to get information. You have to kind of scrape it from different places, but that kind of adds to the mystique. It's just, what an incredible race.
Susie, if you're listening, well done. Keep it up.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
Please do.
But Chris Kosman, who's the race director, is also one of the nicest guys. And actually, he was at the Daytona 100 when we were there, and he was there running an aid station, part of the community in the middle of the night, giving out food to idiots like me who hadn't fueled properly. And it just like, that's what I love about running, and particularly the ultra scene, is even the guys who are responsible for these big, magnificent like races, they're still in it. They're still part of the community, just like we are. Like they're just like us.
Shout out volunteers. Yes, we need you. We love you. You're amazing. The ultra world would not run without you. Quite literally.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to everybody out there, every runner, anyone who works and helps and volunteers in the running community. You guys are rock stars. You really are. And yeah, Badwater is a badass race. We've had on some people who've done Badwater, both who've ran Badwater and crewed at Badwater. And it is a badass race that might scare me one day, but I think I really want Erika to do it, and I want to go there and be part of that.
just getting in is tough enough. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so hard to get into, and it's beyond me.
You have to
I'm fully
earn
accepting
it.
it.
You really have to earn your place.
Yeah, and I know guys who've done it who are incredible runners and not succeeded,
Mm-hmm.
and I know guys who've done it who've succeeded, and it leaves a mark. I think that kind of race does leave a mark, so you got to be ready for it.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been awesome, Mike. This has been truly a pleasure talking to you and learning all about everything about you, but not just about you, but like your company, Raccoon Media, and the running show, the Boston Run Show, everything that goes into it. I want to give you one more opportunity here to pump the tires for your media company, for the running show, for Boston, for a future Chicago or LA show. Pump the tires. Tell everyone what you want them to hear.
I would just say, look, if you're a runner and you're part of the running community, and you want to be around people who think like you and who are like you, and you want to be inspired, then get on down to the Run Show. It is a place where everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter if you think you're starting out or you think you're really good. Hopefully, it's home for you. It's like, as long as you're a runner, then you are welcome there. So come on down, Boston, Hines, 27th, 28th of January. We would love to have you there. Use the code podcast on the website and you will get a free ticket. And we hope to see you there, and I will meet you all there because I'm totally coming because I can't stay away.
Let's do it, Mike.
It's official. It's going to happen. Mike is coming to the Boston Run Show. Breaking news on the On the Runs podcast. His wife doesn't even know yet. Not a big deal.
I am going to die. She'll kill me.
Bring her with you. Family trip. There you go.
She'll definitely kill me.
Hey. And Mike, I'm sure you don't need it, but I always like to offer. Erika has a spare bedroom at her house.
It's a wonderful bed in my podcast studio right here.
That was very kind of you to offer that all by yourself.
But honestly, offer stands.
She does
but
it all the
I'm sure you
time.
want to be close to all the action. We're 45 minutes outside of Boston, but still, if you're desperate, you're welcome to it.
And Mike, and to save your life, if your wife was going to kill you and you don't come, I hope we do get to meet you and work together again someday. And maybe we'll just come to the UK and come to your show. That would be a blast. I will have to take at least my daughter to be like, all right, I got one of the kids. You have the other two. But she would love to go. I would love to go to London or the UK. I've never been across the pond. So I'd love to go and check it out one day.
Well, look, anybody who's listening to this who wants an excuse to come to the UK, the National Running Show is on in January, the week before the one in Boston. So it'll be the 20th and 21st. So head on over for that one. If you want to come to Birmingham in the UK, I'm sure we can make it happen.
Love
Decisions.
it. This has been a pleasure. It really has been a pleasure to get to know you, Mike. Thank you for this opportunity. Thanks for your team for reaching out to us. That was really, really cool for us, as we are a growing and expanding podcast. And we have so much fun. And I think you had a lot of fun on here with us. I hope you had a lot of fun on here with us, because that's just the way we try to do our show. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome. And yes, I did have loads of fun. And I really appreciate you guys like spreading the word and just chatting to me, really giving me an excuse to talk about running for a bit. It's great.
That's what we love to hear, Mike. And we love to talk about running just as much as the next person. So the whatever we can do to help you out is awesome for us, and we love to do it.
Oh, you guys rock.
Everybody, I really hope you enjoyed that. Mike Seaman from the Boston Run Show on the On the Runs podcast. What a pleasure that was.
Mike, you are so incredible. It was such a blast talking to you. You are just a wealth of knowledge. You've got so many stories. I mean, I can't wait to check out that documentary about the ultra you were telling us about.
We follow his YouTube channel now, by the way.
I do, yeah.
I do
Me
too. Well, we do.
personally.
I say
Yeah.
we, the podcast page.
But me personally, I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I really hope that you do decide to take an impromptu trip to Boston. I mean, let us know. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, I know you said your wife might kill you, but take the chance. Come to Boston, dude. Come to Boston. Or if not, if you want to live, okay, I get it. We'll meet you another time. But I really can't wait to like we vibed with him, and we kind of joked about the co-host thing. He's like, hey, Eric, when Erika goes on vacation again, Eric, if you want to co-host, I'll come on. Like, yeah, Mike's our people. He is our
Let's
people.
book him for June, man. I'm going to be going away, so
That's right. You got your
get him
100 miler.
going.
That's right. All right,
Yeah.
Mike. Put June on your calendar. That was
Yep.
so much fun, guys. Boston Run Show in a couple on the 27th and 28th. If you haven't gotten a ticket yet, and you can get them for free if you use the code podcast on checkout. If you don't get them before the show, you have to pay at the door. So get your free tickets.
I think I'm going to need to take a trip out to England sometime soon, and maybe Mike and Susie will run an ultra with me, as long as it's not too hard. I'm still working on I'm still working on them.
So let's talk about some other recent things that happened. Last week we revamped the playlist. How fun was that episode?
I had a blast. I love how we had Josh and Janine listening to it, or that episode that we had on their drive down to New York the other day. And the first thing you said to them is, who had a better playlist? We can't really, I don't want to compete with you, man. I mean, it all depends on somebody's taste in music, like how it vibes with us. I mean, how do you really compare?
I think people are just going to pick you for the fact to pick you, because I truly think my playlist was better than yours.
Me. I like my stuff, but you have like the classic jock jam kind of stuff. It's more nostalgia, which is great. So, I mean, it all depends on what kind of mood you're in, and I don't want to fight. We can't fight.
That was the one of the episodes that in recent months that once it uploaded and I got in my truck to go to work, I actually played right away because I wanted to like really hear how it came out with all the songs. I was so excited. I was just like, this is awesome. It was so much fun.
You did a great job with it. That was fun.
You know something else that's super cool about podcasting, and we've been raving about this for about a month now, even though we're having Riverside difficulties at the moment. But Riverside continues to expand and improve, and their AI generated show notes have been amazing. And I've been sharing these with you.
Yes, man, it is spot on too. It picks out every little thing that we talk about.
Every
and
little thing, all the way down to our names. And when I say this, here's the thing. You're Erika. Forever, I put my name down as Newt because Eric and Erika are really cute. Are really cute. Yeah, we are really cute. Eric and Erika are really close. And as you'll learn on Thursday when we drop the Peloton episode, somebody messed up my name. But Riverside uses the name you type in. And so it'll go, Erika and Newt talked about their trip to the Peloton Studios in New York City, right? Got me thinking, okay. What did it do for Aaron Azar?
Oh my God.
Do you remember Aaron Azar's name on Riverside?
That was my icebreaker. I'm like, all right, this is cool, but I have to point out that your name is pee pee poo poo doo doo. So, oh my God. I didn't even think of this.
So Riverside thinks her name is Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodle. So let me read this summary to you. The AI generated show notes for the Aaron Azar episode that will be dropping on YouTube soon, by the way, everyone. Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodoo, also known as I Am Mrs. Space Cadet, shares her running journey and funny stories. Further down, Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodoo also discussed her unexpected experiences meeting track and field athletes and being featured in the media. Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodoo discussed her running videos and the entertaining aspects as she runs. She shares stories about blah, 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 blah. Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodoo, goes on and on and on.
They know it's she. Okay.
Pee Pee Poo Poo Doodoo experienced donating to the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I mean, come on. How funny is that?
Oh my God. That is amazing. I wouldn't have thought to go back to it because this was kind of a little bit before we noticed it started doing this for us. And I mean, just being a past episode, I don't know if I would have realized, but good for you. That is amazing.
I wanted to come on and pump the tires to Riverside because it's been amazing. But then just today.
Oh, they've had so many cool updates. But today has just been a weird day.
I can't blame them. I can't blame them. But I won't blame you. I'll just blame the guy downstairs in your living room streaming right now.
Sure, whatever. Blame the Orange County Choppers because that's what he's watching.
That's definitely it. That's it. It's so old. The Wi-Fi has to dig so deep to pull up those old TV shows. That's it. That explains it.
Uh,
Here's one other thing I want to talk about before we close at the outro. At the end of the year, we talked about rankings. They're not rankings. We talked about reviews and ratings. Like, give us a 5-star rating. Give us some reviews. And we're like, we don't even know how to find these reviews. So some people have showed me, and we've got some recent ones. And I want to share some of
Yay.
our awesome reviews. So we have 5.
Yay!
We have 5. That's amazing. So here's a recent one that came the very end of the year. Love this podcast while I run. This is from Nat Neymark. I'm totally getting that wrong. But Nat Neymark says, love this On the Runs podcast. First listen to Mrs. Space Cadets episode, also known as Pee Pee Poo Doo Doo. And now I listen every week. So thank you, dude or girl,
Yay.
whoever you are. Here's another one.
Thank you.
5 stars here. So fun. I'm always looking for new running podcasts, and I'm so happy I found this one. They have an awesome variety of guests from local runners to running celebs. Eric and Erika's banter is also great. Hey, we have good banter. You know that?
Yay.
We have good banter. It's fun to follow along with their personal running adventures. I have to hit click more. It's been super cool to see and to see them out in the wild at local races too. That's awesome. That's from Hiking Hills. Guy named Hiking Hills. Might be a girl.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we've gotten some. Here is one more I'll read to you. This is from Hey Me, it's Julie. What's up, Julie? Princess Challenge finisher, first time listener. She goes, I was told about this podcast after I finished the Princess Challenge, my first in-person 10K and a half ever. And of course, the first episode I had to listen to was about Dopey, as that is a dream of mine. I loved listening to everyone talk. The questions were great and ones I would want to know. And it was just super fun to listen to. Looking forward to listening to more episodes.
You guys, you're giving me all the feels.
How cool is this? We got reviews. Oh, it's amazing. I'm so excited.
Glad you guys like us because you know we like you right back. So
We love you all.
this is fun.
No, it's super cool. So like we don't ask you guys every day, but this is a perfect time to plug it. If you know how to do it, give us a 5-star rating.
I
And
feel like it's an Apple thing. I
write a
don't know.
review. It is an Apple thing. But you can give 5 stars on Spotify. But you can't
Yes,
leave a
yes.
review. At least I don't think you can. There's so
don't
much
know.
going on. We're working on the website.
Technology challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
Technologically challenged.
We're
There we
working
go.
on the website. That's going to be by the end of the month. My goal. You know that costs money, by the
Really?
way.
Ugh, how much?
It's not. It's like they have tiers. They have tiers. Basically, you can go
Oh.
anything from like 11 to like $100 a month. We're gonna be at that $11 a month, maybe the 16.
for a little while. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
No, maybe forever, because all we're doing is putting up episodes, pictures, and blog posts. We have some people who want to write some blogs. That's awesome. We got the people coming to us saying, I'll write for you. So I'm really excited. We could call it the Spare No Details Running Blog.
You know what? That's got a nice ring to it. I like it.
I say this all the time. I got so many things, but that website's this month. So we got the Boston Run Show the weekend after this weekend. And then we're talking about Eastern States in March. So there'll be some time in February. I am going on a vacation. You're going away, but we will never be gone from you guys. Episodes every Tuesday and bonus episode this Thursday. It's actually getting a number. This is a legit episode, and we recorded it in the car. It was amazing. It came out great. I'm finishing up the editing. It was so good.
I'm really excited to listen myself because that is fresh right off of getting off the train, like hours after this whole experience. I mean, I was riding high and promptly was exhausted after recording this episode. I don't even remember what we talked about. It was just so much fun just discussing it again in the car. Oh my gosh. In the car.
And at some points, like the
little
GPS is like,
unhinged.
turn left. And we're like, where's it taking us? Oh my God.
There were a couple times where we're like, you gotta take, yeah, you're taking this exit.
Yeah. Don't miss your exit. Hit the brakes.
Did
hit
you
the
edit
brakes.
Did you edit that stuff out or is that in there?
No, it's staying in. It's staying in.
So you
Raw
guys,
and
yeah,
unhinged.
you guys are gonna have a lot of fun listening to that. I mean, I will too, and hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, you guys are I really hope you guys love it. I think you're going to enjoy this one. But I really, thank you for listening to this one that you just heard. Mike Seaman, Boston Run Show. Thank you so much for reaching out to us and for giving us the opportunity to have you on. And we can't wait to meet you guys at the Boston Run Show. We're going to be there. We don't know what day now. I think it's going to be Sunday because kids, but we are going to be there, and I can't wait. So, guys, thank you. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Instagram's the main one. Click the link in bio. You'll find the rest, like our TikTok that gets updated once a month.
And the revamped playlist.
The revamped playlist. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are going to be dropping the Aaron Azar, Pee Pee Poo Poo Doo Doo, the Ryan Van Duzer, the David McGilvery, the Bex Gentry episodes by Valentine's Day, and those are going to be up there. And if you really love us and you want to help support the podcast, we have some amazing Patreons, guys. You can be a friend of the pod or a lover of the pod. Check out our Patreon page. Everything is in that Instagram link in bio. And we got it. You know, I know we said no OTR lives until I'm done with hockey because time and everything. We got to do another jibber jabber for our patrons. Let's do that.
Oh yeah, it's time.
Let's do a little jibber jabber after the Boston Run show.
That's a great idea. But we need you guys all to rally and let's go to this thing. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to love it. Tons of brands there, tons of speakers. It's just going to be such a blast. So let's all meet up, have a blast, come say hi. We can't wait to see you.
We'll bring a lot of stickers. We'll bring a lot of stickers and magnets.
Yes,
we'll
we
stuff
will.
Erika's pockets with them. And if we see
you
any,
get a sticker.
if
You
we
get a
see
sticker.
any good spots to put a sticker out in Boston like we were in New York all weekend, we'll do that too.
Excellent. So
All
if
right.
you see them in the wild, take a picture and let
Yeah.
us know.
The one on
We'd
the
love to
Londonderry
see
Rail
it.
Trail is still there 2 years later. I'm like super impressed with the quality of these stickers.
I'm glad nobody's come by to take it off.
Or vandalize or any of that stuff. Don't do it.
No, right?
Just pump the tires, guys. Pump the tires. This podcast
Yes.
is so much fun. We love doing this. We love putting this out for you. And all the people we're meeting, you're all amazing. So thank you, everybody. And Erika, save this episode and take us home.
Oh, this episode doesn't need saving, but you guys know we love you so, so much. We wouldn't be here without you. So as always, don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
And I love all you guys. And thank you so much for checking out this episode and coming on. And thank you so much for just, oh my God, we suck at podcasting.
Do we though? I mean, according to those reviews, we don't.